So why haven't you made the Virtues as Empires video yet?
I didn't finish it.
The best definition of prudence is the ability to discern and choose the right course of action based on sound judgment, wisdom, and foresight, and my selection for the virtue of prudence is the Emperor Hadrian, one of the 5 good emperors of Rome, and my personal choice for the best Roman emperor ever. Hadrian was basically the Roman equivalent of Marty McFly, because he knew what was gonna happen. Hadrian's renowned by real motherfucking gay-ass G's for his light Yagami level intelligence and planning during his reign. Not only did he save the legacy of his predecessor Trajan, pulling back the empire's borders and putting them on the defensive, which greatly lessened the damage caused by the crisis of the 3rd century. Hadrian's also renowned by most people for having the best succession plan of any Roman emperor, leaving it to the more conservative Antoninus Pius, who would sustain the empire until the younger prodigy, Marcus Aurelius, took the spot after his death. And yeah, aside from me just being a complete Hadrian glazer, those are the 2 reasons why I put him here. Next one. Next up, the best definition of justice is the commitment to fairness, equity, and moral rightness, and ensuring that individuals receive their due according to their rights and merits. And my decision for this virtue is Gaius Marius, best known for being the rival of Lucius Cornelius Sulla, the uncle of one Gaius Julius Caesar, and, albeit less so, for his revolutionary army reforms. So from the founding of Rome, both the kingdom and the republic, the tradition was always generally that only wealthy landowners, mostly like patricians and equestrians, would make up the army. Now, Marius looked at this, and much like Genghis Khan about 1,300 years later, said, see, we're gonna do, what should I call it? An interview between you two. Okay. Now, we're gonna shoot a few hours at that pool noodle. Go ahead, Antoninus, Gracchus, Gaius, Licinius, Africanus, Scipio.
What do you suck? And you're creep.
Get that nigga out of here.
Okay, good job. Now you go ahead, Josh.
Nice job, team.
Yeah, you know, this is tough, but I think I'm gonna go with you. What the fuck? No, what the fuck are you doing? You can't do that! You fucking piece of shit! Everybody run, he's gonna kill us all! The devil's rising! He's coming to reclaim all of our souls! Run for your life! Marius basically made military positions entirely dependent on being good at like your job. You know, in hindsight, I feel like that was pretty fucking obvious. The best definition of the virtue of temperance is moderation and self-control exercised in all aspects of life, particularly regarding desires, appetites, and indulgences, in order to maintain one's inner harmony. And I think the choice here is relatively obvious, that being Marcus Aurelius, who, despite being one of the greatest Roman emperors ever, is arguably better known nowadays for his philosophical teachings. Listen, I'm gonna say this quietly. He might even be rivaling Blade in that area. 333 versus Meditations, who y'all got. Of course, when it comes to music, they'll no compare. Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic, meaning that he believed that virtue was the most important thing in a human, and that worldly possessions were basically just a vessel with which to deliver this. He also lived a very frugal lifestyle for arguably the most powerful man in the world at the time. This is pretty cut and dry, moving on. Cut and dry. My penis is cut and... The best definition of hope is the confident expectation and anticipation of good outcomes, blessings, and fulfillment in the future, even amidst trials and uncertainties, instilling confidence in the possibility of positive change and redemption. And I kind of cheated here a little bit because I have 2 candidates, just basically because They're very similar, and those are the two emperors, Aurelian and Majorian. Both of these two came into their positions during very turbulent periods, being the crisis of the 3rd century and the reign of the Germanic puppet master Ricimer, respectively. For context, the crisis of the 3rd century was a period after the death of Marcus Aurelius, where the empire was just kind of shit, generally, for like a century. It eventually ended with the reign of Diocletian, and Ricimer was a Germanic Roman general that took over the late Western Roman Empire and didn't really care about the survival of the empire, killed multiple of the puppet emperors he installed, including his friend Majorian. Anyway, there's not really much to say. The two of them assumed their positions while their empires were at their lowest, and through conquest and reforms, bought them decades longer lifespans in only a few years each. The best definition of charity is the selfless love, compassion, and benevolence towards others, especially those in need, regardless of their circumstances or deservingness. And the choice for me here has to be the Gracchi brothers. These two were basically what got the end of the Republic rolling. They were politicians in the mid to late 2nd century BC and are famous for their egalitarianism. Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus advocated for equality between the plebeians and patricians. An example of this is their support for subsidized grain distribution for the poor. Basically, these motherfuckers invented the concept of empathy, essentially. The best definition for fortitude is the strength, courage, and resilience to endure adversity, confront challenges, and persevere, enabling individuals to overcome fear, hardship, and temptation with steadfastness and determination. The choice for this is Gaius Octavius, aka Augustus, and yeah, he doesn't really need an introduction. Augustus's habit of being in absolute dogshit motherfucking bat situations began as a child, being extraordinarily sick and not even actually being a patrician. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he really had to fuck his rats up and make his money twerk before all that. And then on top of being in bed most of his childhood, he was only 18 when he inherited basically everything from Julius Caesar, aka the dictator of Rome, and had to fight for his life against far more experienced opponents. I mean, what the fuck was I doing when I was 18? I was making the what the fuck? I was making the fucking 7 heavenly virtues as Romans on YouTube.
I was like, damn, nigga, what you doing out here with all this ass?
You know, maybe this is why no one likes me. And on top of all of this, Augustus also had to change one of the most powerful entities in the world, distinguished for their complete hatred of kings and monarchies, for the last half a millennia into basically a monarchy ruled by him, where he was essentially the king. Now, the best definition of faith is the belief and trust in a higher power, divine providence, or ultimate truth beyond empirical evidence or rational certainty. And gee willikers, Batman, I wonder who this could be. Constantine the Great liked God a lot.